robots can dance. They can even practice kung fu. But how can they have a heart? In technical terms, that question points to something far deeper, building cognitive architectures and value systems that allow machines not just to act, but to understand and decide. When I want insights into that frontier, I turn to Professor Zhu Song-chun. He's a leading figure in China's national push toward artificial general intelligence, or AGI. Recently, I visited him and his team at the Beijing Institute for General Artificial Intelligence, and it was a fascinating experience. Seeing it firsthand, I watched embodied AI evolve beyond mere tools into increasingly capable agents, shaped by extensive training and real-world interaction.
Basically, what we are showing here is the upper body of a humanoid robotic system with dual arms, and with a focus on precise object manipulations. And the application here is about an industry kind of scenario where a robot trying to pick up some object from a mobile belt to the bin, and pretty much they emulate, some kind of logistic and other manufacturing applications.
What do I need to learn?
I mean, pretty much just like nothing you to learn. Like,
okay.
You just like
perhaps we just do the drill together.
Grab. We can learn it. Yeah, right now.
You basically just like hold it.
Hold it.
Just pick it one.
I would love to meet him every morning in the park.
That's right. People are loving it.
Oh, so the head also moves together with the motion. Wow. Okay, thank you. What a unique experience interacting with robots that are on their way to have a heart. But even more fascinating is to follow Professor Zhu and interact with his favorite AI model with the name of a little girl, Tongtong, which exists in a virtual city with her own personality, motivations, and limited autonomy. Rather than simply learning via existing data or reputation, a token or a statistical chain, Tongtong learns in a different way, causality. That way, believed by Professor Zhu, is the way leading humans to AGI. So wonderful to see Tongtong again.
Okay, when was your last time?
I think it was 3 years ago, right?
3 years ago.
The very beginning.
Okay, it's really nice for you thank you for coming back. So about 3 years ago, we just began to design about the AGI agents. So I say, okay, why not we start from simple? We build a girl who is only like 2 or 3 years old, right? And let's imagine living in just one room, and she can look at a tabletop, so moving things around.
Right.
And then from there, we go through a apartment, living with 3 bedrooms and 1 guest room and so on. Yes. And then we introduce a little brother called Tian, and she has 2 parents and then grandparents. So this will be
social
like
network becoming more complex.
Right, a family of 6, we'll call it. And then next stage, about 2 years ago, we began to let Tongtong go to so-called kindergarten. Okay, in the kindergarten, she began to meet some friends out of her family. And then last year, we started to build a community.
Wow, so that's where she is right now.
Right, so she can interact with many different social roles in the town. She has many friends, many friends. And so therefore, she needed to find different things at different places and talk to different people, ask for information, solve for a long-range tasks. For example, it's like a little cat become like someone abandoned a cat, and then the cat kind of hurt some people. And then she needed to find out who are responsible for this. So this is a long task.
Yeah.
And then you have many different roles, like NPCs.
Yeah.
People play game. So later, you and I can just take over any of the NPC.
Really?
Yeah, right. So you can tell them what to do. Okay, and see how she will respond.
周伯，您知道谁长期喂养并遗弃了一只小橘猫吗？
我也不知道这个猫是谁的啊，你能不能去给我倒杯水过来？我有点渴了。
好的，周伯，我这就去给您倒杯水。
She already found the cup.
She's thinking. 哎，她找到一个 cup 了。Next, she needed to find where the water is.
Yes. Okay.
She's running outside. It was a fountain
look for
over
the
there.
water.
Oh, this is maybe American town. I will tell you, people drinking from outside.
the fountain.
From
yeah.
a fountain, right?
Exactly.
You don't drink this in China. Anyway, okay, she's
coming back.
She's coming back.
Yeah.
Right now, she was just checking what is she's thinking inside.
Right.
So this is what we call the explainability. And the inside how she's reasoning and thinking. Okay, she now give the water to Uncle Zhou. Okay. Because this is NPC, you know, he does not have the capability of to fetch the water.
Right.
Okay, she just put it on the desk now.
Yeah,
okay,
so
now
Tongtong is the most sophisticated person.
right now, yes.
Now she's running into a vet.
To a vet, to a vet person, and then ask. Say maybe you know the vet saw this cat before, right? If the owner took this cat to the vet for treatment.
1个月以前啊，杨带着一个猫来过诊所。
So now she's on her way to Yang.
I believe so.
Okay.
杨洋，许医生说你1个月前带过一只猫去诊所，那只猫是不是这只小橘猫？
Okay, so she's asking
是
Yang
我带去的那只小橘猫。
He finally admit.
Professor Zhu, that was so much fun.
This is what we call street smart. She has to solve all kind of tasks dealing with different type of personalities.
But Tongtong certainly has grown. What is it like to witness her to grow and develop?
The first thing is people nowadays call it spatial intelligence. She has vision. She sees things, recognize people, can read people's emotion. But then you have embodied social. That means how do you deal with different type of people? And people lie to you, right? And then you have a serial mind. And then she began to rate people. In a sense, like you have this rating of companies, right? Of A, B, or A, B, B, C, you know. Of course, she didn't show that today. We're still working on that. So people lied to her a few times. She will not trust that person that much next time, and then downgrade the relation. So set it up some sort of different type of relations and groups and so on.
Well, Professor, just listening to you describe the overall process of growing up for Tongtong reminds me about a lot of things. First of all, there has been so much debate about what exactly is AGI.
There's no clear definition what is really AGI, but roughly you can think about it. It's like a human-like. Right now, AGI becomes like a term for a buzzword or soundbite for fundraising for some big companies. So therefore, they define something like a deep mind. They define, of course, they are very competitive, and they define AGI as, for example, beat the smartest person in the world. For example, in AlphaGo, right? They beat the Go game champion. That's 10 years ago, exactly 10 years ago. AGI is try to do what humans can do without a book knowledge, the knowledge from the book, right? Just
Being street smart.
Be street smart, yeah, how to deal with people, daily life.
And yet we have not found out all the secrets about our own brain.
We don't quite fully understand how the brain functions because the implementation has neural aspects, which is complicated. But we understand AGI from a mathematical term, which is where I started with. So, okay, let's come back to the question of what is AGI? Is there a mathematical theory for intelligence as a phenomenon? You know, intelligence, because intelligence are just all kind of phenomena. You can do this, you can do that, and you know, there are different type of intelligence. Pretty much like a physicist, they have different atomic physics, astrophysics, and so on, different scales. So we wonder whether there exists such a unified mathematical framework that can explain all phenomena. Of course, not only explain, but you have to build it. That's an engineering issue. That's what my job is about. Try to build it. Only when you build it and you can confirm all those phenomena.
What kind of benchmarks are you using, Professor Zhu, in order to assess the so-called growth of Tongtong?
We define two completeness. First of all, you have to be AI complete. So that means we have a cognitive structure that is complete enough. You don't miss any piece. But then how do you know it's AI complete? Unless you have tested it thoroughly, right? In the past, you heard about the Turing test, but that is only testing certain language aspects, and then people can cheat over it without an embodied movement, or like Tongtong does, you just saw. So therefore, you have to make the test complete. So you make sure all the possible space of possible tasks. So when the task is completed, then you can confirm the architecture is complete, and therefore this iteration. So we published last year two articles and then the books. One is called a CUV architecture to define mathematically what is AGI. So the living in the mathematical space of cognitive architecture, and the U is all capabilities, skills, and the V is the value functions that drive the agents. That's the CUV. You would define first what is AGI. And then we also published a paper and then a 382-page of a book called a Tone Test to test AGI using this, as you see, daily tasks about how to deal with objects, deal with people, and so on. So this is a very wide range of tasks. We we learn from developmental psychology, because they have many psychometrics to measure the infant and the child development. So when you have an infant or a newborn baby come home, they know what you have, capabilities you're going to have, in what months, right? Of time. So we kind of reference to that matrix, and then developed our testing platform and compare with humans. Actually, we compare with 3 years old, 4 years old, 5 years old kids, and then see what do they do. Not only test on some specific tasks, say solving the problem, but also testing their value systems. Whether, for example, just put them into the same environment and then watch what do they do.
Are there some interesting case studies you can share with us?
So we put a little boy from Beijing, this parents bring them to a little room, right? And then we messed up the room, and then see whether the child, they went there, and then what do they do, right? First of all, they want to clean the room, or they want to play certain things, because everything you choose depends on your internal value system, your priorities. What do you care about? What do you don't care about? The boys, well, they obviously are under watch. That's a different thing. They know someone's watching them. We want to make sure they're not under watch. Okay. All right. So this is another thing. Right. When they are under watch, they behave very well. So
they clean up the room.
They clean up the room. Yeah, and then they put the things under different places in order, and then certain things first, more urgent. For example, certain bottles, they want to put it up first, right? And then certain things can wait. Tongtong did similar things. So by actually watching how humans or adults doing certain things, that's how Tongtong and also the human child, children learn the values and what it's supposed to do. That's how exactly we define the value system into different scales, different levels. V0 is like you are doing things for your own good, right? At your own pleasure. So when you in a secured and private space, no one watch you. So the V0, we'll call it. You just please yourself. Then V plus is like how other people think. Your mom, your teacher, right? Think about what is the right thing to do. So she needed to build that, actually. And so therefore, Tongtong has this capability when her mom just showed up or not showing up, she behaved differently. That's loaded. That basically, cognitively, she has to load you value and then you cognition to her system. She has that capability. Then the third, we call it V++, is the common value that for people as a group, like we together want to solve a task together. For example, even the highest level, you have a state or nation or that kind of thing. So that's why we call it to raise a child. We build Tongtong. We want to teach Tongtong to have this complete value system, not only how to deal with the room and also has to consider other people's opinions, and also have a authoritarian, like as a group, what it can do for a country, for a nation, right? That kind of education. So then when she make a decision, she's optimizing over all this calculating.
Are you trying to imitate every stage of life of humans, or are you just trying to create an AGI that's eventually going to be able to finish the tasks?
So I think my goal is later, right? Try to create AGI to finish the tasks.
Right.
But very interestingly, you found out certain things I never thought about before. For example, I had two girls, right? I raised up. They grow up,
Real girls.
quite easily.
Very capable ladies.
Right. They grow up without too much of my, they show up certain capabilities or show certain personality over different age. So that's common to humans. We didn't think too much. Why? As you just said, usually at the infancy, at 2 or 3 years old, they develop this called embodied physics, playing with toys and then biting things and eating, grasping, play with water and so on. So this is physics, which currently robotics really missing, the first part. And then by 3, 4, they began to learn, as I said, to social interaction with people. And but sometimes they are annoying. In China, they thought when you are 3 years old, that's the most annoying time of a child, right? Because they are very capable of moving around, but they don't respect other people's. That's because they don't know, they don't have the reflection of how other people watch them. So, but then they learn that, the social aspect, embody the social. Then realize, how people, are bothered by them. So by 6 to, they go to kindergarten and then go to elementary school, they are very kind of mimicking, they quite learn things, knowledge. But all of a sudden to like 13, teenage, they become rebellious, right? In a way of not listening, following orders anymore, and try to explore new spaces. So these things happens. You can think about maybe it's through evolution. This is an optimal way to grow agents. We found a similar problem with Tongtong. So therefore, come back to the early question, like only when we build it, when this is Feynman, the great physicist said, I can only understand if I can reconstruct. So we try to construct Tongtong. At the same time, we try to make us understand what are humans. And then when we understand humans, we know how to build an AGI.